All right, joining us today is the balcony-diving, weapon-wielding architect of pain, a man who has spent decades leaving pools of blood in the ring. Truly the world's most dangerous man, NewJack. NewJack, man, thanks for joining us.
What's good, man? What's good?
So you'll be appearing with ESS Promotions in March, which we'll mention in a little bit. But first off, how have you been, and how has retirement been treating you?
I've been doing pretty good. I've actually been doing appearances, and I might do a match every now and then. I have been lately, you know what I mean? But it's treating me pretty good.
I was at your last match, too, in 2013, where you fought Necro Butcher. What was it like, to call it a career that night? Do you have any regrets stepping away, or was it just time for you? I know you said you probably make appearances here and there, but, that was technically the official day. But how did that feel?
It feels all right. I mean, I stayed at home for like about 2 years after that. And I found myself getting bored.
Mm-hmm.
So I started contacting promoters again, you know what I mean? And I would go out and do appearances, and do a show every now and then. But I mean, I feel like I accomplished a lot, you know what I mean? I made a name for myself, whether it was good or bad, in the business, you know what I mean? And I did stuff that people would imitate, but they can never get it right. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And I left a lot of memories in the business, and that meant a lot to me. Because I see people copying my shit all the time, Bubba and Devon. I mean, that meant a lot to me.
You got your big break working for Jim Cornette's Smoky Mountain Wrestling promotion. One of your biggest rivals in Smoky Mountain were the Rock and Roll Express, who were just announced as WWE Hall of Fame inductees this year. What are your thoughts on the actual Hall of Fame nod for them, and who do you feel should be inducted who hasn't yet? I mean, there's been a lot of names where people get mad to where they're not inducting the right people. Has that ever come across to you?
Steve, you know what? Honestly, bro, I don't pay that shit any attention.
No problem.
Honestly, God, I don't. I mean, to go to the Hall of Fame, in wrestling, that means absolutely nothing to me. And I don't pay it any attention. I mean, for those that do go, God bless them. But it means nothing to me. Nothing at all.
Sure. Tommy Dreamer has said that you were an amazing talker. You could talk people into hating you, and you could talk people into loving you. Did you personally find talking to be easy with how they set it up for you in wrestling?
No, it wasn't easy. It was just that was one of my stronger points. You know what I mean? And because my wrestling abilities back then were very limited. So I had to have a strong point. So when I would cut my promos, I worked on my promos a lot, to make those believable. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah. So that helped me a lot.
Sure.
When I would cut my promos, and, I would just go out there and do my thing. You know what I mean? I wanted to make people believe and what I was saying was true,
Natural Born Killers was played as your entrance music throughout all your matches in ECW. Whose idea was it to have it play throughout the match? And did you ever get to a point where you never wanted to hear that song again?
No, actually, Paulie, we did a weapons match one night, and I asked him would he play my music during the whole match.
Mm-hmm.
And he asked me why. And I said, well, it seems like what we're doing is like nonstop. You know what I mean? It's like a fight scene in a movie.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it was like, it's just nonstop action. And then we was fighting all over the building. And I said, let's just give it a try. I said, and play my song during the whole music. Play my music during the whole match. And I said, when it ends, just loop it and play it again. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So we tested that out, and the fans were into it, and it went over real well. So he said, well, we're going to do this every night. So that's when we started doing it.
That's great. The name of the game was Weapons and Blood, which made you a very important part of ECW. You were the dangerous wild card. In this PG world that we live in today, do you think there's still room for blood to be spilt at certain events?
Well, it's like TV is so PG rated now. That would really put fans in shock. They would be more in shock. You know what I mean? And Vince has TV down there. I mean, he done got a hold of it, and it's like it's so watered down to where, and I don't really think people really want to accept it. I mean, you still got your hardcore fans, true enough. You always have them fans. They'll never go away. And I know that they would love to see blood sometimes also. But, I mean, like I said, the way the TV is now, they're not going to go for it.
Yeah. Now, you don't strike us as someone who's afraid of any man, but was there anybody ever that you worked with who made you think that, damn, this is a person who I would hate to actually have a fight with?
No.
No. Perfect answer. That's we know in the past you had talks with the WWE in which you turned them down because we know there's no way that NewJack would fit into that landscape. But how important was it for you to own your own name and your character out on the independent scene? And do you have any advice for any other wrestlers who build up their names in the indies just to lose that name to a big company like WWE when they sign?
I mean, that was my whole deal when I did go and talk to them, and they wanted to own the rights to my name if I ever came there and worked and got fired or quit or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I always said there's a life after wrestling, you know what I mean? And people know who NewJack is, and nobody knows who Jerome Young is. So I couldn't go nowhere and make a penny off of my real name. You know what I mean? So I kept my name, and I just had to take what came along with it, which was not getting a job with WWE. But, I mean, I didn't care because I wasn't going to hand them my nuts and let them cut them off, and I'm just sitting there, with nothing to do now. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Do you think that happens to go with to where does it bother you that when WWE talks about ECW to where maybe it has to do with that deal that they never really recognize you as one of the guys who helped build that company? I mean, they always mention guys like the Dudleys or RVD, Dreamer, Sabu, but they never really talk about the original Gangsta.
The reason that happened is because I did a couple of interviews about Vince McMahon, and it got back to him. And he was offended by it. So, I mean, I was always shit to him, you know what I mean? And, I mean, he went on record and said that I was the devil. He did an interview one night and said that NewJack is the devil. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I thought the shit was funny. But, I mean, they don't mention me in a lot of the, books and encyclopedias that come out, but I don't care. I mean, everybody know I was there, so, I mean, I don't care.
Sure. And I got a question from one of our co-hosts. It says, back in 2012, Jerry Lawler suffered a heart attack on Raw, which led you to tweet your feelings about him. Was there a specific incident that caused you to have these strong opinions on him?
I never did like Jerry Lawler, and the time that I really hated that motherfucker was it was a match that, do you remember Jackie?
Mm-hmm.
It was a match that she had. And Jarrett and Jerry Lawler was in the Mid-South Coliseum. And they were sitting up top. And I was going up there to ask one of them a question. And Jerry was talking to Lawler, and he said she looks like a little wet dog. Because they were doing a match in the ring where they had like a big tub that was full of mud. So the loser got thrown into the mud, and into that tub. And when Jerry said that, Lawler said, yeah, she looked like a little black wet dog to me. And they started laughing about it. And I'm standing right there. So then when I popped up, they were like, oh, chill. You know what I mean? And from that time, I never did like that motherfucker after that.
Sure.
And when he had a heart attack, I said, yeah, I hope the motherfucker dies. I didn't bite my tongue about it, and I would have said it to his face. You know what I mean? And that was why I said it.
Sure. Now, another Memphis legend, Kamala. When he had his problems, he didn't really receive the same amount of attention that he did. Did that factor into that whole incident to where they weren't really treating him the same as well? The same amount of respect, I guess, for Kamala that they were with Jerry.
Dude, this is a fucked up business, and I mean, people pick and choose sides, and when that shit happens to Kamala, I was just like, hey, bro, get in line. Because, I mean, they treat people like that, the ones that are over, that they use it, and they push and push and push. Those are the ones that they care about. You know what I mean? Kamala, when his deal happened, they didn't make a big deal out of it because they didn't give a fuck about him. You know what I mean? He was just another worker that could be replaced. They didn't give a fuck about Kamala.
That's right. I want to let you too. Years ago, we met you at the roast for Terry Funk, and our co-host he got you to sign his O.J. Simpson jersey, which he loves. He brought out his O.J. Simpson jersey for you. You signed it for him. He has it to this day, and I think he's actually wearing it tonight right now. But it was an honor meeting you. You're great with the fans, and I know on March 25th you're going to be signing autographs with the Sandman at the Wrestling Universe from 1 to 3 p.m. With ESS Promotions. Can you tell the fans maybe why they should come out and meet the original Gangsta NewJack?
Well, I mean, like I said, I still got true fans out there, you know what I mean? And for those that hadn't seen me in a few years, you know what I mean? You come out and hang out and then kick it with me, sign autograph, take some pictures, and have a good time.
Definitely, that's right.
It'll be worth it.
That's right. Well, NewJack, man, I thank you so much for taking the time out tonight. We can't wait to meet you on March 25th. Thank you so much.
Thank you, man.